Quick question. Is $100 still worth $100? Technically, yes. Legally, yes. But can it buy you what it could buy 10 years ago? That gap right there is inflation. And once you truly understand it, you'll never look at money the same way again. Okay, let's start with the basics. Inflation explained. Properly. Not the textbook version, the real version. Inflation is when prices go up over time. That sounds simple, almost too simple. But here's the thing. What actually causes prices to go up? That's where it gets interesting. Most people think prices go up because companies are greedy. And look, sometimes that's true, but it's not the whole story. Imagine this. You're on an island. There are 10 people, and there are 10 apples. Each apple costs $1. Now, a helicopter drops another $10 onto the island. Suddenly, there's $20 chasing the same 10 apples. What happens to the price of an apple? It goes up. Not because the apple changed, but because there's more money chasing the same stuff. That, right there, is the core of inflation. Now, inflation doesn't have just one cause. It has three main drivers. Let me break them down fast. Number 1, too much money. When governments or central banks create a lot of new money, more dollars, more pounds, more euros, the value of each one drops a little. It's supply and demand, but for money itself. Number 2, too much demand. Sometimes an economy heats up. Everyone wants to buy stuff at the same time. New phones, new cars, new homes. But if there isn't enough supply to meet that demand, prices rise. This is called demand pull inflation. Demand is pulling prices up. Number 3, supply shocks. This one hits differently. Imagine oil suddenly becomes scarce. Oil is in almost everything. Transport, manufacturing, packaging. When oil gets expensive, everything gets expensive. This is called cost push inflation. The cost of making things pushes prices up. Now here's the wild part. All three of these happened at the same time in 2021 and 2022, which is why inflation went through the roof globally. That combination, that's what made your grocery bill feel like a math problem. Okay, stay with me, because the next part is the part nobody talks about. Who actually wins when inflation goes up? You might be surprised. Here's the uncomfortable truth about inflation. It doesn't hurt everyone equally. The losers, people who hold cash. If you've got $10,000 sitting in a savings account earning 1% interest, and inflation is running at 6%, you're losing 5% of your purchasing power every year, silently, without a single dollar disappearing. People on fixed incomes. If your salary doesn't go up with inflation, you're effectively taking a pay cut every year. People with savings in low-interest accounts. Same deal. The winners. People who own assets. Houses, stocks, land. These tend to rise with inflation. So if you own stuff, inflation can actually increase your net worth on paper. People who have fixed-rate debt. This one is counterintuitive, but stick with me. If you borrowed $200,000 at a fixed rate and then inflation hits, the value of money drops, which means your debt, in real terms, is worth less. You're paying back the loan with money that's worth less than when you borrowed it. The bank takes the hit. That's why governments, who carry massive debt, are not exactly motivated to stop inflation. Quick pause. If this is making economics click for you for the first time, hit subscribe. Every week, I break down one big economic idea. No jargon, no boring charts, just Mangu and the truth. Now, let's talk about what you can actually do about inflation. Okay, you now understand what inflation is, why it happens, and who it punishes. So let's talk strategy. These aren't financial advice. They're the ideas that smart people talk about. Do your own research. but you should at least know they exist.
Strategy 1. Don't hold too much idle cash. Cash loses value during inflation. This doesn't mean spend everything. It means understand the cost of keeping money doing nothing. Strategy 2. Think about inflation-resistant assets. Historically, things like real estate, stocks in companies that produce real goods, and commodities tend to hold value better during inflation. Strategy 3. Understand your debt. Not all debt is evil. Fixed-rate debt during inflation can actually work for you in some situations. Variable-rate debt? That's the dangerous kind, because when interest rates rise to fight inflation, your payments rise too. Strategy 4. Keep learning. I know that sounds cheesy, but genuinely, the people who understand these systems make better decisions. That's the whole point of this channel. So back to that $23,000 house. When you see a price, any price, you're not just seeing a number. You're seeing the result of money supply decisions, government policy, supply chains, and collective human behavior, all baked into one tag on a shelf. That's what inflation really is. It's the economy's way of keeping score. And now, you can read the scoreboard. Once you understand how inflation works, you can't be fooled by headlines that say, prices went up because of greed. You can't be fooled by politicians who promise to fix it overnight. And you start making decisions with context, not just instinct. That's what I want for you. Every video, one idea, genuinely understood. That's inflation, explained properly. Next episode, why central banks exist, and why some people think they're the problem. If you want that one in your feed, subscribe now. And if this video helped even one thing make more sense, share it with someone who needs it. I'm Mangu. See you next week.